It goes 1 for Rex Tillerson, 2 for Barack, 3 for the coal money blasted on mountaintops. Start to connect the dots from drought to the global south. It's time to wake the fuck up and freak out. Climate action now. Either we keep the oil in the ground or Exxon rakes the cash while coastal cities drown. They got 5 times the reserves, then we know it's safe to burn, but the screams don't ring as loud as their projected returns. 200 million on lobbying to shape energy policy that's warping our atmosphere, warping our democracy to buy off Mitt Romney plus Capitol Hill. No more ice in the Arctic, so it's drill, baby, drill. When Congress is straight sponsored by coal, oil, and gas, you best believe they won't let a single climate bill pass. Big bankers, you know you gotta do the math. News anchors, you know you gotta do the math. World leaders, you know you gotta do the math. Retweeters, you know you gotta do the math. 1%, you know you gotta do the math. Presidents, you really gotta do the math. Politicians, you gotta do the math. Join the mission, come on and do the math. Dirty lobby writes a check and Congress writes them one back. 30 million in subsidies for more smokestacks, for more asthma attacks, for turning the Gulf black, keeping America hooked on their product like straight crack. We give them 6 times the tax breaks we give to renewables. No wonder people say wind and solar ain't doable. A crucible to keep green energy on its knees to appease fossil fuels, but the scientists agree that if we let the earth warm right above 2 degrees, we hit tipping points, can't stop rising seas. 200 million climate refugees by 2050. Immigration reform looks a bit more tricky. West Nile makes its way to your town and your city. Listen close, cause the next math ain't so pretty. 20 years, 100 million dead from dirty energy. So ask yourself, who's the real public enemy? Brazil to Islamabad, Chad to Somalia. It's time to wake up, cause your grandkids are calling you. They didn't cause this shit, but they're paying with tears while we stand at the pump, hands over our ears. This is real, this is now. Wake up, freak out, and get a grip. We're in a storm, but we can still right the ship. Fat cats, you know you gotta do the math. Bureaucrats, you know you gotta do the math. College grads, you know you gotta do the math. Moms and dads, you know you gotta do the math. Coal backers, you know you gotta do the math. Hydro frackers, you really gotta do the math. Big Bird, you gotta do the math. Spread the word, come on and do the math. A revolution of the mind, a revolution of the heart. From the Keystone blockade to those West Virginia ramparts. Get organized, then turn off your TV. Join the global mass movement to be fossil fuel free. Get your school's money out of Shell Oil and BP, cause if we don't have a planet, what's the use of that degree? Go to 350.org if you wanna know more. When you fight for climate justice, you fight for the world's poor. You fight for human rights, for diversity of life, for people over profit, and for love over strife. Stand up to riot gear and break the climate silence. Tear down the apathy, never ever stay quiet. Our kids will ask us what we did when we knew. Did the youth rise up, even if it meant handcuffs or sitting in a cell, so that justice would prevail, not just for human beings, but for polar bears and whales? I wanna tell them that I tried with all of my might, and I'll see you on the streets as we continue to fight. That's how it adds up. Millionaires, you gotta do the math. Empty chairs, you gotta do the math. CEOs, you know you gotta do the math. Cuomo, don't let fracking pass. Meat eaters, you gotta do the math. Google readers, you gotta do the math. Humankind, we gotta do the math. Read the signs, come on and do the math.